going on, wonderful people? So today I want to talk. My title is "When a Good Woman Marries a Fool," and we're going to read out of 1 Samuel 25, verse 1 through 43. Hopefully, you'll read that on your own. So I'm pretty much wrote my own summary and the part that I want to actually give to you. Um, it features Abigail. Abigail was a really good woman. Abigail was a faithful wife to a man named Nabal, which his name means food, thus the reason why the title. The Bible describes him as churlish, which means stubborn. In other words, he was rude, impolite, hot headed, and lacked the wisdom his wife had. And so in verses 7 and 16, we see that David had protected he pretty much worked for Nabal. He protected Nabal's shepherds and was asking for a reasonable favor in return. That Nabal would give them reasonable provision when they arrive. And Nabal was rich, and certainly he could do it. But instead, being wise and generous, he chose to be rude, which only provoked David to fight. David gathered 400 of his men, and he set out to destroy Nabal. If you know David, David didn't play. David could fight. David didn't have any fear. David, as a young man, killed Goliath. So David really is not the person to be messing with, and especially when he put his men and put his time and effort in protecting Nabal. So David set out to destroy Nabal's whole household. But if it had not been for such a woman of integrity and wisdom, this wife, this woman, he would have been destroyed. Abigail recognizing that David was a servant of the Lord, the Holy Spirit spoke to Abigail, and she felt like she needed to go, not only save her foolish husband, but spit some wisdom into David. So Abigail set out a gracious gift. She made sure David and his men had all sorts of things, and with that gift, she humbled herself and she fell at his feet, pleading for the life of her foolish husband. That's a good woman. This woman, she knew that there was a possibility that David would kill her, but because the Proverbs 31 woman really wants to protect her husband and not harm him, she went out and sacrificed herself when it truly should have been her husband. So it's kind of funny if you fast forward to today's time. That's exactly what women do way too often. They sacrifice their life for a fool. So I'm hoping that this story is going to encourage you women and hopefully encourage a man that's acting like a fool to get himself together and actually pray for God to speak wisdom into his life. So she surely didn't deny who her husband was. An ill-mannered, rude man, but she sought out grace on his behalf. So she went and she needed grace on his behalf. So ladies, you should always pray. You should always pray for your husbands, no matter what. Always pray for your husband's behavior, no matter what. Always pray for your husband's behavior, because with prayer, God can change any heart. And this is a beautiful story of integrity of a wife. David actually granted her the grace and saved this man's life and saved her whole household. But within 10 days later, God took the life of Nabal and he set her free of that abusive marriage, because Abel was rude to her. He was nasty towards her. And so if you're facing that situation, please don't pray that God kills your husband, but pray that God removes him out of your life. And that's the same thing for men. If you have an abusive or a wife that does not want to have a oneness type of marriage and relationship, pray that God takes that woman out of your life. And so this is what my title is, when a good woman marries a fool. Don't forget, read 1 Samuel 25, verse 1 through 43. You have a good one.